Hi, I'm Joe Lewkowicz with Coldwell Banker Realty. Hey, thanks for joining me this February for our live streaming conference. And just giving you a quick overview of the real estate market in Northwest Tampa. Interest rates are moving up slightly. The real estate market is still very strong. Inventory supplies are low. A lot of buyers are out looking, not quite hitting the market yet for places being sold quickly, although in spurts. I did 5 sales last week, so the market is still really pretty good. Interest rates have not affected the market overall yet. Stock market's been going crazy, but that has very little effect on the real estate market. I look for the market to keep improving through the springtime, and I don't think interest rates, unless they go up by 1% or more, will really affect the market that much. So with our live streaming, we get a lot of questions, and let's see what kind of questions we're getting and go right to making some answers. Okay, first question in. How much should you save for a down payment before buying a house? Well, if you can, FHA financing, for example, you can get in with as little as 3.5% as a down payment. Other closing costs would be another approximately 3%. So let's say that you're buying a house for $250,000, which would be a starter home. You could get into it with $7,500, about $8,000 as your down payment. Closing costs would be about another $7,500. You could ask the seller to pay for 3% of those loan closing costs. Okay, so they could pay all $7,000. So you could get into it with as little as $8,000 as a down payment. I would recommend that if you're starting to buy a home. For example, a house that's now $250,000 last year was probably 5 to 7% less in price, which would be about $225,000. So if you were trying to save from going from $8,000 as a down payment, and you're trying to save $20,000, and the house just went up $25,000 in value, you just lost money in real dollar terms. The real estate market is liable to slow a little bit as interest rates go up, but I do not anticipate any drop in values. I just anticipate a slowing of the appreciation. Back from 1979 through 2000, we really had only an upward swing in pricing, anywhere from 3 to 5% in the Tampa area, but no declines. Now, we did have declines from 2005 to 2011. Prices actually moved downwards, but historically that was an aberration. So my point being is, buy a house now. Save enough to be able to get into it. If you're a first-time home buyer, look for FHA financing. Conventional financing is a little cheaper, but you have to have a little bit more, but you can get into it with a 5% down payment. Just get into buying a house. That's what I would do right now. Another question, when you're first getting married, is it better to buy a small house now or stay in the apartment and save up for your dream home? Kind of answers with the question that just came in. Buy a house now. For example, again, houses right now at $250,000, which is going to be a starter home. It's not going to be the perfect house. But values have been running for the last 4 years, roughly 5 to 7% per year, depending on where you are. South Tampa, which is south of Kennedy, Palmacia, Beach Park, has been going up almost 10, 12% a year. So take a $250,000 house and add $25,000 a year to it. If you go 2 years, that $250,000 house is now $300,000, which you're pretty much priced out of the market. Okay. Now, if you buy it for $250,000, you go 2 years, you got $50,000 more in equity. So now you can move up to the next house, and that's how I would do it. And that's why I say get into a house now. If you don't already own a home, get into one now. Now, appreciation rates are liable to not stay at 5 to 10%, which is what they've been for the last 3 years. But they're probably, if historical data is any indication, they're probably going to go 2% to 5% a year. That means again, take that $250,000 house, you're going up $5,000 to $10,000 per year, every year. And that's equity going into your house that you would have just spent for money as a rental. So how do I know if I should sell or lease my house? It depends if you can really make a profit on it. A good rule of thumb, this is the old one, it used to be whatever the value of the house was, if you can get 1% of that per month, you should rent it out. In other words, $250,000 house, can you get $2,500 a month? That would really be the key number. Basically, if you're not breaking even, and a lot of people don't run all the numbers, and when you look to lease a house, you have to go, okay, what is your management time worth? How much, or who's paying the electric bills, who's paying the water bills, who's doing the lawn maintenance, how much maintenance is going to be done to the house. So in other words, let's take a $250,000 house. If you can get, and it's hard to get $2,500 a month rent for that, but you might be able to get $2,000 a month for it. For example, if you're really in good shape there, that's a $500 a month loss based on normal things. But maybe your mortgage payment's only $1,000 a month. But what are your taxes? What's your maintenance cost? What's your ultimate return? Figure out what the return on the investment is going to be and what's your time worth. I'm doing this from hearing the Wharton School of Business on that I listen to on XM radio, and their financial guys say owning a property and leasing it out is like running another business. You have to decide whether you're willing to go in the middle of the night to repair things. And if not, are you willing to pay the management fees, which can run 7 to 10% a month, and you've got to add that into the cost factors. So you really need to decide on all of that. And sometimes it's just easier to sell a house and rather than hassle with the renting out. If you had a home you wanted to rent out in Tampa, where would you set your starting price this season? I'm assuming that's for the rental amount. I don't really handle rentals, but what I would do is check with what are people asking on Craigslist or maybe on Zillow as the rental market, and see what you can get. What are apartments going for? What kind of condition is your place in? And who's going to be handling all of the work, such as mowing the lawn and things like that. If you're throwing in all the lawn mowing and you're throwing in the water bill, for example, that can make a difference. If they're paying the electric, the water, taking care of it all themselves, that can make a difference too. So that's kind of how you have to look at that. What should you look for in a renter? Again, I don't handle rentals, is not what I handle. What I would do is call me when you get a chance, and I'll set you up with a rental manager. I know a few that do nothing but handle rentals, and that's kind of the thing that they look at. Because you know, if you have a good tenant, you're in great shape. But a lot of times I've heard, and I get houses from people who've had rentals and they have not been happy with the results afterwards. So, should I sell my home now or wait until spring and summer? That is a great question. So here's the pluses of selling your house right now. Very low inventories in the market. Especially the lower the price level, 200,000, under 200,000, there's like a 2-month supply of homes, if that. 200 to 300 market, a little bit more inventory. Again, as you go up the price ladder, 600, 700, $800,000 and above, there's more inventory available. There are less buyers this time of year, but again, no inventory. So people are still buying houses, and the interest rates are really good. You're still looking at roughly, right now, rates are running at about 4.25%. And that's as of yesterday on a 30-year fixed rate loan. So, you know, people can still afford it. However, historically, the market is April 1st through July in Northwest Tampa. And people are getting settled for school. A lot of relocation trips start happening right now where people just look at houses, but they say, I don't want to move my kids until spring and summer when school starts. And now with that happening, then people want to They all run into somebody that knows somebody that bought a house that they got outbid on. And as that market picks up, it's like a big chain reaction where it gets stronger and stronger. And then with July being actually our strongest sales month. And the problem is once school starts, which is August, the market really does slow down considerably then. The factor in there is what's going to happen with interest rates. If interest rates go up by 1%, we may lose ground, and you could have gotten more at this time of year than you would in the spring and summer. So that's just kind of the guidelines there. Are there any areas in my home that may need repairs from winter? Florida is very mild winter. The biggest thing is landscaping got killed a lot of the plants. If you're going to be selling your house now, trim it up, make it look good, add a lot of mulch, maybe get some flowers, you know. Come March, you can start doing work on the landscaping, but wintertime's not really our thing. Having working in the Carrollwood area and Lutz and that, I've got a lot of houses that were built around 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001. Roofs are my big issue. If your roof is 16, 17, 18 years old, insurance for a new buyer is becoming the biggest problem that I'm running into. Can people get insurance on it? Are they going to hit you as the seller for the full cost of a roof or not? You need to have your roof, you may think about having your roof inspected by a licensed roofer. If he's going to say you got 3 to 5 years of usable life left. Do you have what are called nail pops or rusted nails popping out of the roof? Are the shingles sealed? Is the roofer saying you got enough time left on it? Don't count on somebody taking your roof that's 17 or 18 years old and not saying I'm gonna take off $15,000 or $20,000 off the price of a house. They may not even buy it because they don't have the cash to be able to put it on right away. So that's something that's going to need to go into the mix, and that's one of the big things that I'm looking at right now. Is landscaping more important in spring when selling a home? Landscaping in Florida, because it's green all year round, is always an issue. It's got to look good. Do you have any grass in your front yard? If you have no grass, make it look green. I know grass in oak shaded areas can be really hard to keep up with, but the house, stand back from it and say, would I buy this house if I'm looking at it? Or would I say, if I have no grass at all, I'm going to be spending $10,000 to resod the yard? That would probably never cost 10 grand, but a buyer could throw out that number without knowing that and automatically walk away from your home. If your landscaping is really poor, work on that. Front yards are the most important thing because people stop, they get out of the car, they take a look at the house, they were already making a decision as to what they want to do on your property right then. So what are the easiest ways to research homes without physically having to go see them? Well, I'm doing a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, JoeLewkowicz.tv.com, or you can go to JOSEPH-LEWKOWICZ.com to catch up with the videos. That's the kind of thing for me as an individual agent. I'm trying to do more videos of houses if we haven't sold them immediately. Realtor.com is a real good site. If it's on Realtor.com and it is for sale, okay? There's not garbage information. There's not houses that are pre-foreclosures and that. A lot of people look at Zillow. I've seen Zillow have pre-foreclosures and confusing things. So if you're serious about looking, I would look at Realtor.com. My company sites, COLDWELL-BANKER.com and FloridaMoves.com, are very good sites to find the latest properties, also to get pre-qualified for mortgages. Those are really, really good sites to look at. They're dependable, and you're going to get really good information. So that looks like all the questions for today. I know things are going to be really good for this spring and summer selling season. If you have any questions, I'm Joe Lewkowicz. Email me at joeluke@me.com. I'm happy to answer any of the questions, or go to my website, JOSEPH-LEWKOWICZ.com. We'll see you next month.